When the world falls all around you, I won't let you fall apart. So take heart, child, take heart.
And I am with Christian Music Broadcasters. We're so glad that you're here today for this very special edition of our webinars, where we want to focus on community engagement. What is your station doing in light of this crisis, something that's different? So we've invited 5 stations to join us and kind of talk about what they are doing, where they're seeing those connections are being built with their listeners, and as a way for them just to be so supportive and serve listeners as well as Christian Radio does. So there is a Q&A feature on this chat. So for you that have questions, throw the question in there. We'll come back at the end, have everybody join us, and you can ask questions of our special guest panelists. They will be ready for you to ask questions for sure. So make sure to use that. And for you joining us, we're glad for you to be here. We're looking forward to some great times together. So let's just dive in. Each person is going to take about 5 minutes, share what they're doing. We've got all sorts of stations represented, all sizes. We've got commercial, non-commercial, and a mixture. So we're going to dive in with Rachel Lee. Rachel is the program director at Pulse 101.7 in Des Moines. So I'm going to turn it over to her. Hello, Rachel Lee. Are you there?
Can you see me?
Hi, for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to share. I was on a webinar, I don't know, before April hit. I think it was with Tracy Johnson, and he said, extraordinary times call for extraordinary work. And that's kind of been our motto here at Pulse 101.7. We are a small station with a small team, but we are not afraid of hard work. And so one of the things that we're doing is we're just brainstorming 2 or 3 times a week, like, okay, what's next? As the climate changes, as the way people feel changes, as different announcements are made by our governor, like what are some things that we can be doing to engage our community? I can't take personal credit for any of these ideas. My team is incredible, and they really do just come up with very creative things. And, you know, as we brainstorm too, we come up with lots of great ideas, but like all guys, we have to figure out which ones fit in our lane and make sense for who we are already in our community, not try to go outside of who we are just to make them the most effective. So you may have seen CMB's email blast this last week, had a video included of our Pulse parades, and that is one that we're really excited about and having fun with right now. Iowa is not under a shelter-in-place order, so we have a you know, perception and how much we're doing out actually personally in the community. But one of the things we've been doing for about a decade is our City Stop program. We have a station vehicle, and in the summertime, we hire on an intern, and anytime you want us out at your event, whether it's a graduation party, a birthday party, a block party, a 5K, if we can make it, we will come for free. We will pop open the car, hand out free stuff, play some music. It's just a free service that we offer to our community. So Pulse Parades kind of came out of that because we're already known for being on location. So right now we've got a form on our website. People can request our presence, and we literally roll down the street. We've got 2 vehicles. Our morning show guy, Rajan, hops out of the car when we kind of get curbside, and we just kind of keep rolling. But our listeners are inviting their neighbors, and they're all coming out to their own front yards. And as we roll down, we blast the Pulse music for just a little bit, and Rajan kind of has a dance party. We've got a really fun video on our website if you want to check it out. So we did that a week ago, had a huge response. Lots of requests for it. And then this week it snowed and was windy and kind of crummy. We're looking ahead toward next week. We're looking at great weather again and the opportunity to kind of get back out there. And we have a backlog of requests of people who were saying, yes, when you're back to it, we want you to come here. So to take it up a notch, this next week, we reached out to some listeners who are part of the Iowa League of Heroes, and they dress up in all the different hero costumes and go to events around town. So this week we should have Wonder Woman and the Dark Knight with us on our Pulse parade. So we're just excited about the opportunity. That's been pretty cool. A couple other things that we're doing. Tuesday Trivia is something we've done on Facebook for the last 3 or 4 years. Every Tuesday, they're live on video and takes up a random question. And So we're just sort of fine tuning that as we look at this time of year. The moment we realized we're all going to be working remotely, I reached out to Michelle at CMB and said, how do you do this? How do you get everybody on a Zoom call and get it on Facebook? And so now we're doing those calls, making them timely, have them fit the subject matter. This week we were saying, hey, where's your favorite place to support local and go get takeout? So each week we're just sort of tailoring that question to try to be as personable as possible. And then about an hour ago, the governor of Iowa did come out and finally say, no return to the classroom for the rest of the school year. She's been pretty conservative about making that announcement. So those of us like myself who have high school seniors, this is a pretty big thing. So one of the things we're implementing now today are senior shout outs, where you can go fill out a form on our website, nominate somebody in the class of 2020, and then I'm able to follow up with a phone call, grab some audio. We're going to do shout outs to just encourage and love on seniors every day at 3 o'clock from now until the requests start running out. So those are some of the things that we're doing here. If you want to see some examples of those things, they're all on our website, pulse1017.com, but we're happy to share, and we're just excited to do extraordinary work during these extraordinary times.
Hey, thanks, Rachel. Where can people find you on Facebook too? What's your Facebook?
Yeah, it's facebook.com/pulse1017.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. She said she had snow this morning, everybody. So what a crazy April, right? So thank you. That's awesome. Well, we're going to head to Washington, D.C., where Jerry Woods there is the promotions director, morning show host, and so WGTS representative. Hello, Jerry Woods. Good. And yourself?
We cannot complain. We definitely don't have snow. Like Rachel just said, though, good ideas come from the team. We brainstorm every day. We have a meeting at about 10 o'clock every single day, and our team talks about where are we at, what are we feeling, what's going on in our local communities. And again, these are from various members of the team. One of the things we wanted to do, because promotions is here to support the remind people to listen, because simply we don't have as many people listening right now because they're not muting to work. The interesting thing that started happening to us is we buy a lot of stuff online, and online advertising is cheap. A lot of national advertisers have pulled back, so we're seeing our stuff pop up on US Day, on CNN, places you would get this someone on San Francisco's Chronicle website, but they're in our area in one of our local zip codes. They're getting to listen, and always there's a message of encouragement. If you need hope, we're going to be there for you. That turned into something interesting a couple of weeks ago. Clear Channel Outdoor, who we buy billboards from, contacted us and said, we need a message of hope. We'll put it up for free if you can get it to us within 24 hours. We did, and these went up all over the Washington, D.C. area. And again, they gave them to us for free just because they wanted something that was really, really hopeful. So it's Hope Never Gets Canceled. It's gone all over the place. We springboarded off of that time KSPJ was talking about, and we were talking about doing that Day of Hope, which many of you did. We got into Hope-Filled Fridays. So every single Friday on the air, we're doing a broadcast of hope. We've got special guests. We have a special theme every hour. So 1 hour it'll be first responders. We'll pray for them. And a firefighter, I had one from isolation right now who has COVID-19, praying for the rest of the firefighters. And 1 hour it's doctors, and then it's grocery store workers, and then it's teachers. So Hope-Filled Fridays, every Friday, loaded with listener calls, loaded with special guests, loaded with artists. It's just every Friday, it's something to look forward to. It's kind of become the highlight of our week, even though it's a ton of work there. We still have our buses running because, again, this isn't the time to pull back on advertising. We want people to know that we're here, and when this is all over, we're still here for you all the time. We do daily Facebook messages. We have a Facebook Live video that we've always done. But what we've seen across the board with our Facebook content is engagement has gone up 1,300% in the last 3 weeks, guys. That's not wrong, 1,300%. That's not happening just to us. That's happening to most people. So put more content into there if you haven't done that in a while. We had our DJs create a hope-filled video series. If you're looking for hope, go on. And these are spreading across the country. So each where they're finding hope and stories of hope. We always talk about getting in front of a parade, right? The parade that is already happening. And this came from our afternoon show host. I'm just going to show a quick video here. Big emphasis right now on our healthcare workers. And so we want to show that we appreciate them.
Hey there, thank you. God bless you.
Thank you guys.
We will, thank you.
Heroes who work here.
We're praying for you guys. Tell everybody else that we're thinking about them and praying for them.
and that we're praying for everyone at the hospital. It was our secret mission today.
Yeah, that's right. We know that the hospital staff, they're working 12-hour shifts, and it's really tough. And we know that you would like to probably say something nice to them as well. So what we have for you is an idea. Make a sign like one of these, and then post it to the WGTS 91.9 social accounts, social media like Facebook, and use this hashtag
WGTS Heroes.
WGTS Heroes. Use that hashtag, and we'll make sure that they see them. And thanks for everything that you guys do.
Yes.
And keep these medical workers in your prayers.
Thank you so much. Thank you for praying.
You're going home. Did you do a 12-hour shift?
Oh, God bless you.
Thank you.
So that's a social campaign that we've started right now at WGTS Heroes. We're building collages, virtual collages and real collages to give to hospitals, to show them online, to show them we appreciate them. Because then, again, that's already the parade. We're just trying to get in front of it, to be a part of what the community is already behind, to say, hey, we're excited about this. Join us in doing this. That's my stuff, Michelle.
Thanks, Jerry. Love the video. Love what you guys are doing. And as you said, listeners are actually engaging a lot different now. We did a webinar earlier this week on Tuesday with program talking about what are you doing at your station to change in light of the patterns that your listeners are listening right now. So if you haven't had a chance to check out that webinar, we would invite you to do so. We've got a link. If you need it, just let us know. So for those of you just joining us, we've got 5 people that are sharing from their stations about what they're doing for promotions. And we've got all sorts of stations represented today. We've got a chat feature there or Q&A. Make sure you pose any questions because we're going to come back at the end and ask some questions. So next up is Carrie Lynn. Carrie is from Fayetteville, Arkansas, up at KLRC. And we want to welcome her. She does the community engagement there as well as the morning show. So good morning, Carrie.
Hey, Michelle, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this. I'm super excited. We here at KLRC also have a team approach, and so we've been doing a ton of brainstorming. And I think one of the things that we have really tried to focus on is working within our strengths and realizing this is not the time to reinvent the wheel and go do something that we've never done before, but to kind of ask ourselves, you know, what do we do as a station already that the community knows us for? And can we tweak that in any ways to make it a little bit more specific to what's going on in the world right now? So we've done a couple of things that you can see on our website at klrc.com. One that was a lot of fun. A lot of stations do drive-through difference day, and we did a delivery difference day, kind of spinning off of that drive-through difference day concept. And so basically what we did is we asked people in our community to pick a local restaurant that was providing either curbside pickup or delivery, order a meal and have it delivered to somebody that they knew who needed some encouragement. That could be a healthcare worker, maybe a stay-at-home mom, somebody who had lost their job recently. And we saw a really big response with this. People got excited about it, and it made sense to them because they had already participated in Drive-Through Difference Day. So that was something that they were ready to get on board with. Another thing that we did right after everything kind of started shutting down, especially with the schools closing, is I sent out an email to all of the connections that we already had with local nonprofits in our community and just said, what do you need? How can we help you guys? And they got back to us with some really practical things that they were in need of. And so we've been trying to highlight them. One of them is an organization that works with homebound seniors. And they said that they needed help filling up their pantry. So we took a couple of weeks and just asked our listeners to help them. They could send an e-gift card so they didn't have to actually go out and purchase items, but they could send it directly to them. And that was just a way that we were able to locate a need in our community that we may not have known about if we didn't already have those relationships with local nonprofits. So another thing that is, first of all, sorry about the picture. I don't know what happened there, but of course not everybody is in their car and nobody's listening at work now. Everybody's listening at home. So we really want our community to know that they can listen to KLRC at home. So we are doing an app specific contest. We just launched this week because we're about a month into this and we thought, you know what, it's time to do something a little bit lighthearted. So basically I raided the prize closet and all of my coworkers' desks and stole a bunch of items from them. The only way that people can register to win is through the app. So it's driving a lot of app traffic. We're hoping for a bunch of new downloads of our app, and really just want to remind listeners that even though they can't listen at work, or maybe they're not in their cars as much, they can still listen online. One other thing that we've done that's just kind of a small thing that kind of goes with working with your strengths is look at what you're already doing as a station and ask yourself, is there a way that we can just kind of take this and make it slightly different right now? We've always done an Office of the Week contest at KLRC, and we've made one small change saying that we want to honor healthcare workers during this COVID crisis. So for the next few weeks or until things change, we're asking people to nominate somebody that they know that works in the healthcare industry. This is a program that we've had going on for years at the station, so we didn't have to change anything other than changing a couple of lines on our website. And we've done the same thing for our Teacher of the Week, which we've always done as well. Just change it on the website of how teachers are helping their students working from home and finding some creative ways to honor teachers that way. So again, you know, trying to play to what we already are doing as a station. What are we known for in the community, and how can we take those things and use them to really kind of share hope in a way that's genuine to who we are as a station, but makes a difference right now with what's going on. So if you guys want more information about that, all of it is on our website at klrc.com.
Thanks, Carrie. Great info. Great. Love how you guys are engaging your app too, because if you're not, then we're yeah. So
Yeah.
Thanks for that. So
Absolutely.
okay, we are going to invite Michael Kelly to join us. Mike is from the Fish in Atlanta, works with all of the Salem stations there. He is, working from home too, right, Mike?
Yeah, working next to a 4-month-old in the next room. So yeah.
Well, he does all the marketing and promotions for the Salem station. So thanks for being here, Mike.
No problem. Thanks for having me. And thank you for giving me an excuse to wear a collared shirt today. It's a real treat for me. First thing I got, so here at the Fish in Atlanta, our biggest thing is, still connecting with listeners, and our mission hasn't changed. We just have to find the creative ways where their lives have changed and kind of mirror those. So just to give you an example, and this is kind of brag on my corporate team, but the guys at Salem Corporate came up with this great idea for church services. So obviously all the churches are closed right now, especially here in Atlanta. We've got some really big mega churches down here. So we wanted to give people the opportunity to still worship on Sundays. So thing that we created was church services live stream. So this is a great page that we have on thefishatlanta.com. This gives people the opportunity to check out their church, to add their church to this page, also to see what else is out there. So it gives people the opportunity to still worship on Sundays and have that sense of community. And we have promos running for it, promoting it. So that's a major thing that we launched the first day. And then we also have push notifications going to everybody who has our app every Sunday. So it's very timely. Another great thing that we were blessed with at Salem Corporate, they gave us the opportunity to highlight businesses that are still open. So obviously so many places that are closed right now, and essential businesses, people may need to know about these if they have to, like, for example, if they still want to order takeout or coffee, also if they have HVAC problems, different stuff like that. And this is a great opportunity to crowdsource as well. So we have, we run promos, tell people, hey, if you have a business that's still open, please send it to thefishatlanta.com and submit it. And then we clear everything and we give them the opportunity to show off their business and to allow listeners to check out what's still open. And then the final big thing that we have going on is the fun activities at home page. This is something we created locally. So all of our listeners are juggling, 500 jobs at once. They're parents, they're, they have their job, and then on top of that, the kids are at home and they're trying to teach them and, get through the last couple of weeks of school. So on that note, we created this this resources pages that shows off how you help the kids with homework, how you get them out of the house. Also, we've got live streams connecting to the local aquarium, museums, arts and crafts tips, and just different things that we can get the kids away from the video games and get them involved with stuff that would help, brighten their day and give some parents some relief as well. Another thing that we did, we work closely with local charities, and we use our social media platforms, Facebook especially, to crowdsource that. So we like to put in the spotlight on listeners rather than ourselves. So when we have listeners doing great things in the community, we try to promote those. Just for example, there's a local high school senior. Even though his school year's over, which is just crushing, he decided to start up a charity where it delivers flowers to local senior living facilities. So we highlighted that, and we made donations and really promoted that on air. And it gives people the opportunity to share in like some good news, which is really huge right now. As far as giveaways go, on-air giveaways, we did a thing for a couple weeks where we give away board games. Just went out, bought some board games, and actually personally delivered these to the winners' homes. So, we had the vehicle out. People got to see that we were delivering, that personal service. And then we promoted on social media. Hey, look who won the board game this week. You got a great picture of like a kid in PJs. So just like creative things like that. And, we have a really great team here at Salem, as well as Salem, Atlanta. So, just really focusing on listeners and trying to keep their days a little brighter right now, and helping out as much as we can, and keeping the spotlight on them rather than just highlighting ourselves is really big for us.
Thanks, Mike. Remind us what your Facebook page is again.
It's 1047 The Fish.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah, check us out on Facebook.
Thank you. Okay, our last special guest today is Melissa Montana. She's the CEO and president at Star 88.3 in Fort Wayne. Melissa, are you there? You are. Hello.
Hey.
Yes.
Woo! I'm excited about the opportunity. It's like we're getting to do what Christian radio is called to do. Getting to be Jesus. We're getting these opportunities, and I'm thrilled. My team is thrilled. We're all excited. I'm on the air in the afternoon too, just so you know. So we're having more guests on, more people, other voices on with us, and it's just been a really great blessing. What I've been able to share with you and talk about, first let me just mention on Good Friday, we did a driveway worship. So we invited people to get out in their driveways and listen to us, and we started with a local leader, invited him to come in. He did a prayer, so everybody got to hear this. And then we did like 20 minutes of worship. And so we went to a subdivision that we knew were going to be out. They said the whole subdivision was going to be out, this cul-de-sac rather. And they all came out, stayed in their yard, brought their blankets and their chairs. And we went there, both of our vehicles, both of our vans, and set apart, and we got out of our vans and we just worshiped together and listened to Star while this was happening. It was just the coolest thing because kids were coming out there on the sidewalks writing in chalk, and it was so special. So that was a really fun event. We don't know how many other people did it. We heard people commenting, we're doing it over here in our city, we're doing it. So it's something we may do down the road again and get people to get in their driveway or on the sidewalk and listen to Star, and let's just worship together. It was a beautiful thing. And the new thing that we came up with from all of this is something called drive-by blessings. Make sure you add the blessings part of it, because if you just say drive-by, it sounds bad, of course. So showing some of those pictures now. These are not that one, of course. We're going to go to, that one. There we go. We're going to different businesses. So we've kind of divided it up now that we've done it a number of times. We're going to businesses, we're going to homes and subdivisions, and we're also going to non-for-profits, kind of splitting those up. So on Tuesdays, we're doing businesses. Wednesday, we're going to non-for-profits. And then on Saturdays, like tomorrow, we're going back out again. And we've got people that are sending us notes all the time saying, come by and see us, come give us a blessing. When we go to the businesses, we'll stand back and we'll just pray over them. We'll be like, God, meet their needs right where they are. Be the God of provision and blessing in their life. Share with them what they need. Give them hope and encouragement. So some of these pictures that we're showing is us in front of some of our sponsors and businesses, and they loved it. They were so thankful. So we had this sign made up and just saying, we love you and we're praying for you. And it just made a difference. People sending us messages all the time about, this means so much that you showed up. Thank you for that. So doing that. Then I'll tell you one fun thing, going to nursing homes, senior homes. Oh my gosh. It's been so beautiful. We'll stand outside with those big signs, and Josh Raines, who's our new guy that's going to be on the morning show a lot more, he's been going with me, and we've been going out and just loving on people and screaming from a distance, we love you, we're praying for you, and dancing with our signs, and they're waving out the windows. I mean, we're in tears. We're just blessed to do this. So we've given away some things at the beginning, but mostly we're showing up. We're just going there. So we have a plan. We're deciding where we go on those days, and then we're asking people, tell us your zip code, tell us your subdivision. Maybe we can show where you are. So we've been showing that. One day I asked a friend of mine that was an officer, I said, could you get a few other officers around or first responders, and just a few that we can pray over, and showed up in a parking lot, and a whole row of them showed up, and that's what went on TV. So I called a friend at TV and said, hey, you might want to check this out and see this, and they showed up. So we got TV coverage, and people are like, wow, that was so cool. And I'm like, well, we weren't doing it to be cool. We just want you to know we love you, and we care for you. So we got to pray over the first responders, and that was a fun thing too. So encouraging you to just be there, be out, and we had a sign company print that for us, and so it didn't cost us anything, and we're just being there. We had that first thing we did was Parkview Hospital. I know a lot of you are doing that, when we went out and invited people to come out, listen to Star, and the parking lot was full of people, and we did the video live and had like 250,000 views on that, because people are like, this is incredible. It makes people feel united. So we did another one. Another community said, can you come to ours? So everyone is asking us. We can't get to all of them, but we're doing the best we can. So we're getting to people and businesses and hospitals and praying for the medical people. And I think just letting people know you care and you're praying about it is making a difference. So I encourage you to do that. If you want to check us out on Star 88.3, our Facebook page, you can follow us on that. On my page, I'm sharing a lot of stuff too, and on Josh Raines' page, he's also sharing. So if there's anything I can do to encourage you, you guys, we're going to get through this. I know you're tired of talking about it, but I get kind of weary too, but we're going to get through this. So God bless you. We're here together.
Thanks, Melissa. Great info. I'd love to everybody just to join us back. Turn on your cameras. I've got some questions. And so for those of you that might be thinking about a question, don't hesitate to pop it in that Q&A feature. On Facebook Live right now, if you've got questions, throw them there as well. So the first question is for contestants. How many entries are you getting? Has the numbers fallen? For some of the contestants, from some of the contests you guys are doing, or are you doing contests?
I can answer that, Michelle.
Okay.
We are doing contests. On air, we have found, especially early in the morning, it's fallen significantly. We have these windows. It's weird. 5 o'clock in the morning, tons of calls. Nurses, doctors, firefighters. Then it died. Come back to like 8:30. We've moved a lot of contesting online. There's a lot more response online to Facebook and that sort of thing. So I heard someone else say that. There's a lot more going on online than going off over the air right now.
What kind of contest are you doing right now that's causing that you're seeing that with, Jerry?
It's more interaction than contesting, but it'll be like we do a daily prayer thing right now, and there are thousands of people coming on that. Stacy does it right before her show at 2:45 every day. Like I said, we do that Hopeful Friday thing, and then we do the essential worker check-in, and we will get dozens of phone calls for these things. But for contests themselves, unless we do it later in the day, we have something called Beat the Toaster, just our standard contest. If they happen early, they don't happen. And we'll put something out there that usually we call, and 2 people will call if we're lucky.
So when you talk about that, you're not really altering too much of your programming. You're still continuing some of your standards, like you just said.
Yes, but we've shifted some of it, like I said, and a lot of it has moved away from contesting to just listener interaction. Like the essential worker check-in isn't something we did before. It's just a thank you for working, basically, because we're all at state home orders here in Washington, D.C.
Gotcha. Anybody else want to speak into that with your contest that you're doing?
We just launched the app contest just this week, and it is an app-only contest, and we were really surprised. It's only been launched for a couple of days now, and I don't have the exact numbers now, but I got some info from our web guy that said within the first day we had a lot more entries than usual. But again, our phones aren't ringing either, but online content seems to be getting a lot of response.
Awesome. Jim Hogue says you rock, by the way, Jerry. Thanks for being here, Jim. What about Mother's Day? As you guys look forward to Mother's Day and that looks completely different, have you started building your promotions and what you're doing centered around that holiday?
In Atlanta, like we're just, basically thinking of stuff that, moms could really use right now, manicures and pedicures. So big stuff right now is like house cleaning. People still doing that. Beauty products, skincare, also meal deliveries. That seems to be a big segment that's growing right now. And yeah, really like everything we usually do to get mom out of the house, we have to kind of reverse that and think some new stuff. But, as far as like big umbrella Mother's Day promotions, we're really focusing on like individuals at this point in Atlanta.
I'm thinking that we're talking about doing more of the drive-by blessings that we're doing right now so that we can go in front of moms' homes. Maybe we can do more moms this time instead of worrying about these big package deals, but to show up and still bless some of them, but just to come out and have a big sign and honk and wave at the distance. I think we're going to try to do that and just keep doing this drive-by blessings because it's been so successful.
Mm. Rachel, what are you doing for Mother's Day?
Honestly, the same boat where we're looking at just like the fish going, okay, if we can't get mom out to a spa day, do things like that. So I don't know that we have anything really set. We've been brainstorming on that. When it comes to contesting, we're finding that having forms on our website that we can follow up on. We're gathering lots of email addresses. We're getting a lot of connections that way. And then it's pretty easy using ZipWhip to text people directly. So when they're nominating people for things or whatever, it's easy to follow up and get audio when it's a convenient time as opposed to, oh, they're not listening at 7:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. So we're actually looking at May Day, doing May baskets and stuff. Mother's Day for me is like, we'll probably brainstorm that on Monday, just a little bit at a time.
Anybody have anything else to add on that with Mother's Day?
Yeah, we did something last year that we're just going to adopt this year. So we asked people to send us Mother's Day cards for homeless moms, moms in domestic violence shelters, at the VA home, those sorts of things. We're expecting about 1,000 cards. We got 12,000. People drop them off the station of things. So we're asking this year to go ahead and do that anyhow, but just send them in the mail, and then we'll send them bulk to these different places. So we can still do it, and people are crafting at home anyhow, so we figured, why not?
That's great. Anybody else? Okay, next question for you. For those of you who are commercial stations, which I think would be Mike and Rachel, are you seeing a decline in your promotions from your advertisers?
Not really. So we've been a little more flexible with what we want to get on air, and we have to be a little more creative. So those people that may have advertised with us 2 years ago that no longer advertise with us, it doesn't hurt reaching out to them and maybe like, it's another way to get your foot in the door, and offering like the opportunity to, get something on air, a quality prize. Also PR firms, we use those a lot. So publicists that with businesses that don't necessarily ever have a marketing budget, they like to give stuff with trade, like restaurants is a good example. They still do curbside service down here in Atlanta. So working with those, also the meal delivery stuff, like I mentioned before, that seems to be pretty big with us. But yeah, the big thing is like working with clients, also reaching out to PR firms and agencies in the area. They have a ton of people that are dying to get on air right now. So just leverage those relationships.
I think in our scenario, it's a little bit different because we are a nonprofit with a commercial license. So only about 1/4 of our income comes through advertisers, and most of them are local listeners who just want to support us through their business. So it's a little bit different model. Promotionally, we're really grateful that we haven't lost very many. With restaurants closing down, we've lost a few, but by and large, they're sticking with us, and that's been really encouraging. So for us, it's been more a matter of reaching out and going, okay, if you're going to stick with us, do you want to shift your messaging a little bit to connections with the people in our community? So we're really focused there probably more than we are on, traditional promotions with them, to just help them raise their profile and make people feel good during this time, feel good about their business during this time.
Right. Awesome. For the rest of you, kind of taking a little bit of a different twist on that with the underwriting, are you seeing some changes there with underwriting and promotions? Melissa, how about for you guys?
Well, good question. We've been talking about that, and our lady Tracy that handles our business underwriters and sponsors has said that we haven't lost anyone yet. like, yeah, actually, we got a couple of new ones this week. And a lot of people were saying, we see you everywhere. You guys are everywhere. We drove by fire stations a couple of days ago and went in front of them with our big sign up. People are honking, waving because our 2 vans are out in front. People are noticing we're out, and I think that's making a difference, because even if you're not listening, you're seeing us everywhere. On social media, we've ramped up social media in a big way this year, and just being out everywhere. People are sending me notes like, that is the greatest thing that you're showing up. So we're going to the businesses. We're going in front of them and taking pictures and say, we love you guys. Thank you for your support. And several of the businesses that we went to this week, one was a builder, like a home repair and business repair, and does big business here. And another was a food service. And they both said, we're making more money now than we have. Like this week, we've had more success. Like Good Friday, for the guy that was serving food, he's like, that was our biggest sale day we've ever had. And I'm like, praise the Lord. I'm so glad God's favor is working. And this other big business guy that works in building, he's like, we're stunned by this. God is blessing and we're having great favor. So I think just us loving on our businesses and letting them know we care. We're praying for you. Even if you don't give to us right now, we pray for you. They're staying with us. Yay.
Carrie, what does that look like for you in Fayetteville?
I am not super involved with the underwriting, so I can just kind of speak to what I've caught on in staff meetings. We have not seen a big drop off, really intentional with both our donors and our underwriters to reach out to them and to just build relation with them and like deal with them personally one-on-one to let them know, hey, we know things are rough right now. What can we do to support you guys? And I think because we've always kind of had that kind of a relationship with our underwriters, they definitely consider it a partnership. We were prepared for underwriting to go down because a lot of companies consider advertising expenses to be one of the first things they need to cut. So we're planning for if that happens, how do we manage as a station? But I think we're just proactively trying to stay connected to our underwriters, ask them how we can support them. We've tried to do some things on social media that we're thinking about doing of like, can we tag our underwriters in social media and let our listeners know, hey, these are businesses that are continuing to support us even during this difficult time. So hopefully those relationships will, if there is a decrease, it'll be a temporary one is our main goal with that.
And Jerry, what's that looking like for you?
Well, we don't do underwriting. We're totally listener supported, but again, we want to encourage those connections. So something we just did this week is we split up the major donors between all the DJs. And so we're calling each of those major donors, not to ask, just to say, how you doing? How can we pray for you? And it's just making that connection to say, hey, we're here. If you need resources, let us provide those for you. We want.
Great. Okay, next question. What are some good app builders to use? We currently don't have an app that enables us to do contests, listen live, etc. So Carrie, you were talking about the app that you guys are using. So can you share more who you're using to build that and work with on that?
Listen, I am about to throw one of my coworkers under the bus, but I will buy him a Sonic drink later. Anson at klrc.com. He's your guy. Thankfully, he's a web and app genius and he builds a lot of our stuff for us. I have no earthly idea. All I know is that he goes into a small office and puts headphones on and comes out with brilliantly creative things that we can do awesome stuff with. So you're going to have to ask Anson. Sorry, Anson. You're the best. But we have a fantastic app. If you want to check it out, just check out the KLRC app. And we did just do an app overhaul just recently, and we were very intentional about what we want the app to be able to do. And that was a huge brainstorming process with the entire team. And contesting was one of the things that we wanted to be able to do. People can do shout outs through apps as well. So I mean, I think as far as a radio station app goes, we have one of the best. Where we developed it, I couldn't tell you if I had to. I'm sorry.
Okay. How about for you, Mike? What app do you guys utilize?
We use Jake Apps, and Mike Blakemore, our CCM VP of programming, he was very creative with our with our corporate team of building it. So, we utilize open mic features, texting features through ZipWhip. And I think, Rachel, you mentioned ZipWhip earlier. Just stuff that it's super easy for listeners to interact with us and for jocks to interact. So rather than just calling the hotline and seeing if anybody picks up, they have 4 different ways to reach out to us on social through the, 2 different ways on the app. And then, of course, call them in. So we love it. It took a while to build, but it's well worth it. We've had contesting through it as well, like check-in windows, that type thing. So we may pick that back up in the weeks to come. But yeah, it's been great. And, all the credit to Mike Blakemore and the Salem corporate team with that.
Awesome. Anything you want to share on that, Melissa?
I would throw somebody under the bus too. We're not throwing them under the bus. We're saying we love them and we think they're awesome. So
they're the best.
Tom Binder's my PD and Megan Rainey is my promotions director. And we as a team kind of get our heads together. I love our app, Star 83 app. It looks cool. It's black background with gold star and it looks really good. It's easy to find. It works. But I will say we're on the lookout to what can we do better now? I don't think you should ever say it's good enough. I don't think it's good enough. I think it needs to let's do better. Come on. So we're working on let's do better. So it works. It's great. Looks cool. It's all that. But we're now in the talks about what can we do better? Anything through social media. So follow along if you want. Then you'll also see some changes. There. Ta-da. Is that a good answer?
Yes. Rachel, are you doing any contesting through your app?
Not specifically right now. We use an app called Commotion. I know Boost 1019 in St. Louis is using the same app, and we've been really happy with it because it was an easy plug and play and it looks really cool. So the interactive opportunities, the fact that we can do featured videos, featured pages, there's a lot to work with in there. So we do contesting in there. I don't have anything going a second, but it's very user friendly and it's really easy for people to talk to each other within the app, listeners to do that too. So it's got a lot of neat built-in features that does not have to reinvent the wheel, but because we're able to customize it a little bit, it's working really well for us.
Great. And the WGTS app, Jerry Woods.
Well, we share what Mike is doing, what Mike Kelly's doing. We use Jake apps as well. What's been kind of nice about them is we're on about version 3.0 now. You can say, we want to steal from the Fish Atlanta and steal from here and take this and take that and put it all together. So we steal the best of everybody else's because, if you steal in radio, you steal twice. We like the functionality where we take things like our social media. Anytime we're doing a Facebook Live, boom, it pushes it right to our app. So again, because social media is so big right now, that was important for us that when you're on the app, you see what's going on socially as well.
That's great. How are you utilizing Alexa smart speakers? I think my Alexa just turned on. How are you using that, promoting Alexa online to try to drive people to listen and engage with your promotions through your smart speakers?
I can address that. Part of that, again, is we have a genius named Eugene Simonov, and he's doing digital marketing for us. And again, the platforms are wide open. So many people canceled advertising, get on there. So we've got stuff to hey, stuck at home, are you surfing around, tired of news? Listen to something positive. Say, hey, Alexa, listen to WGTS 91.9. So we've got these ads popping up everywhere online. Just again, to remind people, we're still here. We're a viable option when you're done. You've done all the CNN you can do.
Excuse me, I got to turn off my WGTS now.
Well, I'll just throw in real quick. I think the fact that you promote that you have it, so we've still had people going, hey, I just found you on, your Amazon Echo, I'm like, yes, we've been talking about it. So I think it's the continual, we have to keep telling people. So we have regular spots that run. We talk about it on the air kind of lightly in between things. Hey, by the way, you can hear us just say this, And I think just letting people know, we need to continue to let people know that because we assume they know and they don't always know. So
I agree with that. And to add to it, I think one of the things when it comes to the stuff you do online, right, your benchmark listening, points, promoting those as part of it. So for us, we've got a mixed show that happens on the air every Friday night from 6 to 8 with a local DJ, and helping people set appointment listening or encouraging that from your home speaker when we do those things, or when we feature a local artist every Thursday night at 7, getting that local artist to let their friends know, hey, be listening because my song's going to be on Pulse. Those things are helpful too for encouraging at-home listening.
Hey, Mike, we do have somebody that's asked for you to expand a little bit more on your suggestion about reaching out to local PR firms.
Basically what we have like a little database we've built up over the years. If you just Google PR agencies, they have several publicists usually working there, and they tried to, so like some companies, obviously they don't have the marketing budget. So in order to compensate for that, they are really open to giveaways. So over the years, especially like at different, I worked at a top 40 station for years. We built up kind of a list of key publicists to go to. So if you just Google, PR agencies in whatever city you're in, usually 3 or 4 will come up, and it's worth reaching out to them because they always have clients, and the PR agency wants to get credit for as much as they possibly can. So they'll be more than open if you want to pitch them like a package. So just build like an on-air package for like a week. You tell them how much that's worth, how many on-air mentions they get. Send that off to the publicist, and usually the publicists come back with a client that they have in mind that may work. But the tricky part is that when you're dealing with the publicists, obviously they don't know your listeners as well as you do. So just kind of being that filter and making sure that the right giveaways are connected to the right people, if that makes sense. But yeah, you can probably just Google it and find a few there, and that'll be a good starting point for you.
Yeah, great. Anybody have anything to add on that one?
If you're not already signed up for like all access, the pitches that you want, you'll have more publicists than you know what to do with, and they'll pitch you everything. But you find every now and again, you find one that actually works for you.
What is that again to sign up?
At allaccess.com, they've got a bunch of places there. We just fill out your profile, and this is what I'd like to be pitched on. And there's a bunch of places that do this. They, pitch sheets and go, I'd like to be pitched on these things. Maybe it's social media apps, maybe it's local restaurants, whatever. And again, you'll have more. You're opening Pandora's box. Let me just warn you, because you'll get more junk email than you've ever wanted.
Okay, this is a little bit off topic. This is a question that we have, but the question is, how do you get these great ideas financed? Staff are already taking reduced pay, things go.
I think that's completely on topic, because if you have a great idea, but you don't have the budget for it, then it doesn't even get off the ground. Normally we try to get sponsors for a lot of our promotions that we do. I think if there's ever a time that you're gonna kind of put a hold on sponsorship and look at trade, this would be an excellent time to do that. A lot of the stuff that we're doing, we're trying to figure out, is there some no-cost things that we can do, or some really low-cost things that we can do. Our Office of the Week and Teacher of the Week, that's already covered through at least through the next 6 months with our contract there, but we've just tweaked it to where it's honoring healthcare workers and teachers who are doing distance learning. But yeah, I think there's businesses who maybe can't afford a sponsorship right now, but would really like to get their name out there and could maybe do some trade with that. We're also asking for a lot of donations from businesses in that regards as well. But it's definitely, how are we going to finance this thing is one of the first conversations we have when we pitch an idea. So it's definitely worth thinking about.
Oh, I believe that. That's a good word, Carrie. I feel like trade is king, I'm the queen of trade here. I believe there's not a thing you can't accomplish without businesses and somebody else teaming up with you. And so don't be afraid of that. I have a lot of people that come to me over the years from other stations say, like, how did you get that done? And I asked because I'm like, hey, this is amazing. You want to get in on this? So I let people in on the business. Like, you want to be a part of this. And people just are willing to give. Don't be afraid to ask. And if it comes to money, if you're at a point where there's money, I was going to say, I usually I always can get someone to finance something. It's just, you ask people, you partner with people. There have been times I've had to call somebody with a big number and kind of swallow and gulp and go, I'm just going to ask. I'm like, hey, brother, can you help me out with this? Can we do this together? And they get excited about it, and they're excited. So yes, ask, go, trade, keep asking. Don't stop. People want to partner with something and be excited about it. They want to be in on that.
I'm big on OPM, other people's money, and OPS, other people's stuff. And if airtime isn't selling right now, we've got fewer listeners. Again, I'm sure these stats are true across the board. Our social media stuff up 1,300%. Sell something online. And even if you're non-com, the rules don't apply online. You can have a commercial sponsor of that line concert you're doing with Matthew West or whatever the case may be. There's a brand new revenue stream there to do some amazing stuff for non-com and commercial radio.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else have anything to add? Okay, our final question is, you know, the end is in sight, right? Or at least we hope it's in sight. But have you started thinking about what your station is going to do once we've reached through all the phases, we've gone through the channels of restoring life back to whatever normal might look like? So, you know, I don't know if you guys read or saw like the Tracy Johnson, something on programming, and he's talking about you've got to plan for your parade, and you got to plan now, because once this is over, as a radio station, especially a Christian music station, you've got to celebrate. And so have you started to develop that or think about that yet?
I have two concurrent tracks. It's just the promotions directors drive me insane. But I have the, what if this ends 60 days from now, and what if it doesn't? So I've got a whole online track of things we're planning virtually to do, and a whole track of things if we get to be back together in person. And we'll see which way it goes, but we're planning both directions just in case.
So what are some of your initial thoughts on your planning on that?
Okay, sure. So every summer we have what's called the Summer Concert Series and the Ice Cream Tour. So we go to different communities all across Washington, D.C. We hand out free ice cream, and we have concerts just all over the place. So that's the standard. Those will be big celebrations, and they're always free. So, you know, we'll ramp that up. If that doesn't happen, I may sponsor some of these same artists to do online concerts and send out certificates for free ice cream at your grocery store. So it'll be a virtual ice cream tour. So those are the two tracks. I'm like that.
That's great.
I think we're looking at both ways, the same way with you, Jerry. Like, what's it going to be like in a week? What's it going to be like in 60 days? But we don't have it like defined. I don't have this printed out list of in 60 days. I think we are taking it a week at a time, 2 weeks at a time. And so what we're doing right now, we do Zoom meetings. And so we just said, okay, for now, this week and next week, we're going to do our drive-by blessings. We're going to show up. We're going to pray for people. We're just going to go as many places as we can on air. We're going to keep talking encouragement. We're at that next phase where we're talking about, let's get to the encouragement side more, less than the doom and gloom. We don't want to be doom and gloom anyway. So we're talking about, like, what new things can we do? And we include people in that. So I think it's like 2 weeks at a time is kind of what we're looking at. And we'll face that. We've got a summer. So we're like, there's no way we can't be back in place by then. Right, Lord? Right, God? A lot of work to put that music festival together. But we're planning for that. So we're telling people, hey, let's plan for that in July. Let's get excited about it. And if that changes, hey, we'll deal with it. God's got something else.
Right now, Melissa, when is your summer concert?
It's July 12th. It's on a Sunday night. It's part of a week-long festival that's all over this community. Like 400,000 people come through the week, and that's our Christian music night. The rest of the week is all secular and cover bands, but that's the Christian music nights, our star stage. And so I've got artists all lined up. I have them all in place, ready to go, and I'm hoping nothing happens. But if it does, okay, we'll deal with it.
Well, and ahead, I know that that KTIS out in Minneapolis, they do their huge, I think it's called Joy Fest. Radio does their big Spirit Fest, and they've just had to cancel those, and you're talking thousands and thousands of people. So
a lot of concerts I know canceled. We've had a lot that are coming through that had to wait. So, Toby Mac twice now, we're waiting for him. We can't wait, and a lot of other artists. And for Winter Jam, we made it. So I'm so glad it was dynamic, but hearing the other cities that didn't get it, just my heart broke for them. I'm so sorry. So we're praying for our artists and just praying for everybody else in the industry that isn't working like we are. So we pray that God will be the God of provision for them.
Just have to think how awesome it is going to be once Toby does come, right? It's going to be
kidding me. Watch this, you guys. I keep telling people, watch this. You haven't seen anything yet. Watch what God's about to do. We're going to see miracles we would have never seen happen before if this had not happened. So there's some tough times, but right now we're about start catching the miracles and start documenting the blessings that have happened already. We can all around this panel talk about things that God has done that we would not have seen had this happened. So come on, what Satan means for bad, God means for good. Amen.
That's right. Rachel, what about you guys? Are you starting to think about what that big celebration looks like?
Yeah, I feel like, so I have a senior who's graduating this year. Our governor just called off school for the rest of the year, May 16th, that we don't know when we're going to hold it. We also don't know when people are going to be comfortable getting back together again, even when doors do open. So what's going on here, like what's happening for me with planning my son's graduation, is that I have a list of really great ideas, keep adding to it, but we're not making any definitive, statements at this point. I think it'd be really great to do like a big haircut party, and like get a bunch of salons involved and like do something really fun, but who knows? So we're just brainstorming that as we go. That's kind of a part of consistent brainstorming is, okay, what are we doing this week? What do we want to do next week? And then when this is over, what do we want to do? And we're just starting to make a list of ideas, and then how realistic it is when the time comes.
That's great. Carrie.
Yeah. Look, we haven't even figured out what we're doing for Mother's Day yet, much less when this thing is all over. And I think that to some degree, we need to be okay with that. For people who like to plan 3 to 6 months out, it's really hard to not know what's going to happen next week. And so for me, this has been a test of my trust in God. I am a control freak and I want to know everything that's going on, and I just don't right now. And so I think that's one of the things that he's teaching us. And I think that's one of the things we're trying to communicate with our listeners is nobody knows what tomorrow is going to look like. But we're all in this together. We'll figure it out together. We know what we're doing this week and we know what we're doing next week. Further than that, we're just having to trust God. And yeah, of course we're planning and brainstorming, but we're all exhausted. Every single one of us are dealing with the depression and the anxiety on top of our jobs, just with our personal lives. So it's how do we find the balance in all of that? And so I think my goal right now, how can I be present right now in this moment and make what needs to happen today meaningful? And I hope that this doesn't last much longer. And when it does, we'll all have renewed energy and ideas and excitement. And hey, we promotions radio people, we can put things together in like, give me an hour, right? And we can have a promotion ready to go. So I'm all for planning, but if necessary, if this lifts tomorrow, we'll have something great going on next week. I'm sure of it.
Amazing. And I think that you just said a lot of wisdom in what you said, because a lot of people in your shoes are feeling overwhelmed and they're feeling exhausted. Mm-hmm. And because people are working from home, they feel alone. And it's nice that you're not the only one that's feeling the way that you're feeling. Mm-hmm. And that we just have to hold on to that. The end is going to happen. It's just a matter of when, and pray for that renewed strength. So, Michael, I think I'll end with you that question on what are you guys planning, if anything?
Yeah.
Hug fest, Mike. Can you do a hug fest?
Hug.
I'm out. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'll write that down. Right. I think right now. So the situation's so dynamic. We're really focusing on our messaging, what we're going to sound like when we come out. I learned a lesson about 4 years ago. I don't know if y'all remember, but I-85, it goes straight through Atlanta. It's like, the main heart valve. So we had a bad fire and the interstate collapsed, the city. So the station I was working for at the time, we spent a month, planning, and we were going to have a live broadcast on the billboard right where it burned down and have this big, like, grand opening celebration and everything. And then they opened the road a month early. And then we were like, oh no. And then the worst part of it is that rival radio station put up billboards that said no smoking, right where the interstate collapsed. So that was a valuable lesson, really focusing on messaging. And then, a specific event we could, to Carrie's point, we were pretty quick if we really had to. So, with everything up in the air, that's really what we're focusing on.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We're trying to do these special webinars a couple a week. We've got one coming on Tuesday that is going to be with Fred Jacobs. Fred and his team at Jacobs Media did a research project actually based on COVID. And so just surveying listeners through these Christian radio stations on how is your station doing during this time. The feedback's been crazy amazing, and he has shared it with the stakeholders, and he plans to share Tuesday at noon Central Time with the rest of the CCM community. So we will be back on Tuesday at noon with Fred Jacobs sharing his survey results from the COVID survey. So thanks again, everyone. And we pray that God continues to bless you. And I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday. Take care. Bye, everyone.